If a deep-fried, crispy, potato-filled samosa sounds delicious to you, but you're trying to eat a little bit healthier, I've got the recipe for you. Today, we're making a twice-baked potato samosa that you're gonna love. We're gonna cook the potatoes and then scoop out the insides and then season them with samosa spices and then stuff it back in. First, we're gonna preheat the oven to 450 degrees. We have 4 russet potatoes here that we're going to thoroughly wash as they are pretty dirty. Russet potatoes are the best potatoes to use for baking. The insides of the potato become light and fluffy and their skin is thick and sturdy and perfect for twice baking. We also want to thoroughly dry the potatoes because we're going to oil them and we want the oil to get right into the skin. Place the dried potatoes on a rimmed baking sheet. And using a fork, lightly jab the potato all over. Slather the potato with a generous amount of oil and really rub it into the skin. And then do the same with a generous amount of salt. Bake the potatoes for 45 to 60 minutes, and the timing will depend totally on the size of the potato. While our potato is baking, we're going to make 2 chutneys, and the first one is a date tamarind chutney. We're going to first slit the dates open and de-pit them, and then we're going to pour some boiling water over them to soften them before we blend them with the other ingredients. Put the softened dates into a blender. Add half a cup of water, 1 tablespoon of tamarind concentrate, which is going to give it a little bit of tartness, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then just blend until it's nice and smooth. The next chutney we're going to make is a cilantro-mint chutney, and we're going to start with 2 very tightly packed cups of cilantro leaves. Then add a 1/4 cup of very loosely packed mint leaves into the blender. Pour in a 1/4 cup of water, the juice of half a lemon, half a jalapeno deseeded and chopped, 1 teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of chia seeds, which is going to bind the cilantro chutney together. When the potatoes are cool enough to handle, you want to start by cutting them in half, and then I like to score the inside of the half and then slightly take the knife and run it around the edge of the jacket, leaving about 1/4 of an inch, so it makes the scooping out of the insides much easier. Pour 2 tablespoons of olive oil into a pan on medium until it starts to shimmer. Add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds and let them bloom. Then add 1 yellow onion finely diced to the pan and cook down till the onion is nice and translucent. And now we're going to add our other spices, starting with 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 1/2 teaspoons of ground coriander, half a teaspoon of turmeric, and half a teaspoon of garam masala. Mix well until all the spices are well incorporated. Then add salt and pepper and the insides of the potatoes and cook just for a minute or so. The potatoes are already cooked, so we don't need to cook them for very long. Add a half a cup of frozen peas and cook until they're nice and thawed out. Add a squeeze of lemon and 1 tablespoon of cilantro leaves, and then remove the pan from heat. To give the potatoes a little creamier consistency, I'm adding 4 tablespoons of non-dairy sour cream. I also tried this recipe with coconut yogurt, which works just as well. And finally, we're going to refill our potato jackets with the samosa stuffing. Lower the temperature on the oven to 325 and pop the potatoes back in for about 5 to 10 minutes, just until they're warmed through. And our potatoes are done. We're going to go ahead and plate them, and we're going to drizzle some date chutney and some cilantro chutney on top and sprinkle some chev. Thanks so much for watching. If you liked today's video, give us a big like and then hit the subscribe button below, and we'll see you next week for some more recipes.